Hi, in this video I'll show you how to make a day-night cycle in Godot 3D, complete with sun, moon, moving clouds and a night sky. So let's get started. If you already have world environment and directional light in your scene, then feel free to keep it. I'm gonna delete mine so I can show you everything from a blank slate. We'll create a new environment. In mode we'll choose sky. In sky we'll choose a physical sky material. So now let's actually add a directional light 3D that will act as our sun. Of course, make sure to turn on the shadow, otherwise sun won't cast any shadows. And then let's also make it look like an actual sun instead of just some white space in the sky. Next we'll go to world environment and also change some values here to make sun look nicer. We'll also change the sky color to a more vibrant color of blue and maybe make sun a bit more yellowish. Now let's create a script for our world environment. I'll call it day-night cycle. And here we'll start with a very simple script. First we'll export a sun variable as a directional light. We'll add a speed variable and set it to about 5. Then in the processes we'll actually make the sun rotate. And here I forgot to choose our sun as a directional light for the code, so make sure to do that. And now we have our most basic day-night cycle. However, as you can see right now, even though the sun is under the horizon, there is still some light breaking through. So let's fix that. In code we'll add a minimum sun energy and maximum sun energy. And then in process we'll do that if the sun is below the horizon, it will slowly turn off. You can also turn on the global illumination and also SSAO, which adds shadows to the corners to make it look better. As you can see, the sun no longer breaks through the ground when it's below the horizon. Okay, we have the sun, so let's now add the moon. We'll add another directional light 3D and call it moonlight. We will set the moonlight to light only. Although physical sight doesn't show second light source in the sky, we will do so anyway, so that if you edit directional lights in the future, nothing breaks. We will also make the moonlight very slightly blue and change the energy to 0.05, so the moonlight gives off very little light and it's still dark at night. Next we'll create a new 3D node and call it moon pivot. Inside, let's put a mesh instance 3D and call it moon. Because it's moon, we'll make it a sphere. Let's also add a standard material 3D. Then we'll make it unshaded. It will also make it so it doesn't cast shadow. Next, let's increase the scale so the moon is actually big. The moon needs to be opposite of the sun, so when you're looking from the same perspective as me, move the moon across the z-axis. And then in code we'll export moonlight as another 3D light, and we'll also export moon pivot as a node 3D. Then in processes, we'll make sure that the moon moves across the same axis, but opposite to the sun. Then let's select our moonlight and also our moon pivot. Make sure you choose the moon pivot 3D node and not the moon mesh 3D. And nice, we have our moon. Now, as you can see right now, it's just a white ball. It doesn't look much as a moon. Next what we'll do is we'll make the moon actually glow, because right now it's just a white ball in the sky, which doesn't look the best. So to do that, let's activate glow. Now as you can see, the moon nicely glows. Still, we don't want just a glowing ball, we want an actual moon. So let's add a texture to the moon. If you don't have a moon texture right now, feel free to use mine, the link is in the description. Also, after adding a texture, the glow will get covered by the texture, so the way to make it glow again is that in color you increase the E parameter a bit. Now, as you can see, we have a nice glowing moon with a texture. Okay, so what we'll do next is we'll get rid of the speed variable. It's kind of annoying how the only way we can manipulate time is by changing speed. Now instead we'll add a variable called time of the day. We will also add another variable, day length seconds, which is how long our entire day will be. For the time of the day, make sure it's 0.0. Our time of the day will go from 0 to 1. At 0.0 it will be sunrise, at 0.25 it will be noon, at 0.5 it will be sunset, and at 0.75 it will be midnight. Then after reaching 1 it will go back to 0 at sunrise. Let's actually incorporate that system. We will create a function that applies time to the sun and moon. And here we'll create a variable angle, which will depend on the time of the day. We'll also create a function update rotation, which will change the time of the day and also apply that time to the sun and moon. Next, we'll create a function for updating sun energy, which will basically take the rest of what is left in processes and paste it there. And now, on ready, we apply time to sun and moon, and then in processes, we'll update rotation and also update sun energy. We can add a print for a second to make sure that the time of the day is working correctly. As you can see, it starts at 0. When the night begins, it goes up to 0.5. Now if we change the starting value to 0.5, we start at night. And when the day starts, it goes back to 0. Nice, now we have a complete control over the day duration and time of the day. And now, even though shadows cast by moon aren't visible during the day, because sun is so much brighter, we will still completely deactivate the moonlight energy during the day to make sure there is no problems in the future. We will set maximum moon energy as 0.05. Right now, in update sun energy, we check with sun height if sun is below the horizon. But thanks to the time of the day that we have added, we can now simplify it by creating a function isNight that will return true if it's night and false if it's not. Now we no longer need this sun height parameter, we'll just check if it's night. And now let's make it so moonlight is turned off during the day and turned on during the night. Then we can check if everything works, and as we can see, everything works nicely. Next thing we will do is we'll add a night sky. Right now the sky is full blue during the day and full black during the night. Let's make it a bit nicer by adding stars during the night. It's quite simple, we'll just take the night sky texture and put it into the night sky in the physical sky material. And now we have a simple but beautiful night sky. However, there's a problem. The sky doesn't disappear during the day. So let's fix that. What we'll do is go into the world environment and right click on the environment. Then save as, and we'll create a new folder for it called resources, and inside another folder called environment. We'll call this one end of night, since it will have the night sky. Now we'll clear the night sky and save this one as end of day. Next thing we'll do is go to code And there we'll create two exports, one for night environment and one for day environment. Then we'll create a function, update night sky, and in it, if it's night and the environment is not night environment, we change to night environment, and if it's day, the opposite. We will call it in both in ready and also in the processes. We can get rid of that print for the time of the day because we no longer need it. It was just to check if the time is working correctly. And of course I forgot to select the day and night environments. So let's make sure to drag them there. Now during the night we see stars in the sky. And then they disappear during the day. And the final thing we'll do is we'll create clouds. We will start by adding a node 3D in the main scene and we'll call it clouds pivot. Next we'll create a new scene and call it cloud. Inside we'll create a mesh instance 3D. For the shape you can choose anything you want. If you want Minecraft clouds, you can choose squares or whatever else you want. I will go with sphere because it's the closest to clouds. If you want, you can also import your own shape, so there's no problem with that. Next we'll adjust the scale a bit to make it much bigger. Then in surface material override, we'll add a new standard material 3D. Then we'll go inside and make sure to enable transparency on alpha. Then in shading, we'll shade per pixel, since we don't really need much accuracy for clouds, but it's good to also keep them shaded. Then in albedo, we change the cloud transparency. We can also name that mesh, for example, single cloud. Okay, let's save it. Then we'll go to script and we'll export our clouds pivot. And we'll also export our cloud scene, which will be our packed scene. Then we'll go and create a few variables. How many clouds there will be, at what speed they will be moving, where across the x-axis they will be spawning, and at what point they will be disappearing, as well as where they will be spawning across the z-axis, and also at which minimum and maximum height they will be spawning at. So now let's actually create a function for spawning those clouds. We'll add a safety net so that if there is no cloud scene or no clouds pivot, it will just return. Then for each cloud to randomize their position across the X, Y and Z axis. And then we'll also randomize the cloud scale, so each cloud is different size and they aren't all the same. Then we'll create a function for updating those clouds, and for each cloud in the clouds pivot, we'll check if they reach the clouds end X, and if they did, we'll randomize their position again. For the X-axis, we'll just leave cloud spawn X, we won't randomize this one. So the newly spawned clouds spawn at the start of the spawn area and not just anywhere in the sky. And of course, make sure to choose the clouds pivot and also drag the clouds into our exports. And of course, we have to actually call those functions. So in ready we'll spawn clouds, and then in the processes we'll be updating clouds. Okay, let's see how it looks like in game. Okay, we can see the clouds, but they're kinda small. Why don't we increase their size? Okay, let's see now. Okay, now these clouds look much better. But as you can see, during the night the clouds aren't very visible. They just kinda fade out into the background. We can fix that by going into the night environment, into ambient light, and changing it into color. We'll choose a grayish kinda color and also set the energy as 0.1. Okay, everything looks good. Now we can clearly see the clouds at night. So if this video helped you in any way, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And you can also write a comment about what kind of tutorial you would like to see. Thanks for watching.